Happy New Year, Aquarius, and welcome to your January 2026 reading. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. It's great to see everybody. A quick reminder, you can always use this for Sun, Rising Moon, and Venus. And this month we're adding something special, which is 4 extra cards to look at the 4 quarters of the year. Now let's get to my favorite portion of the reading, which is channeled messages. As I was meditating on your sign, there were 2 images that came forth. The first was an elevator, and this represents elevation, movement, a chance to go to new levels. The second, and I want to start with this one, however, is the hermit crab. The hermit crab is really powerful as a symbol because it has the ability to protect itself, but it can also step out of the shell. It can step out of the comfort zone. So the hermit card in tarot comes through as a light in dark times. You have a chance this month to step into the spotlight or to create the spotlight because he's holding the lantern and inspire other people. I think for many of you, just stepping out of your comfort zone will be the biggest challenge. But given the fact that we saw the elevator as the second part of this, this could be a chance to stand out and to stand up for something that you care about and make a difference. So as we take a look at the cards today, I'll try to identify moments of elevation, times where your knowledge as the hermit will be necessary, and then also moments where you might want to step into the spotlight. Let's begin. First things first, I'm going to give Apollo a little pat on the head for luck, and then I'll shuffle the cards. Hey, buddy. Yes, good boy. Thank you. All right. Please take a moment to tune in. I like to use light to do this, so imagine that the sun is shining down on you, creating a circle of light around your body, and within this circle, it's welcome in angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters. Synchronicity there as we have the hermit in the recent past. All right, let's get started with your catalyst. All right, if we turn this card in the upright position, it says, feeling fear is a call for love. But the reversal of this is saying, sometimes it's hard to ask for help, or it's hard to put ourselves out there. Fear is a blanket. We hide behind it sometimes. If I show my true colors, if I share my emotions, maybe people won't like me. Maybe they'll judge me. What if the flip side is true? Maybe if you show who you are, people will respect you more. People can relate to you more. People can help. So, feeling fear is a call for love. Reach out to someone who you already have a feeling of trust towards and say, let's go this extra mile. Let's see if this relationship can stand the test of whatever it is that I'm afraid to reveal, okay? Remember, you have the Hermit card too. It actually came through in the spread. I was excited. So you could also reach out to an advisor in your life and ask for some advice or help. Fear is just an emotion that helps us identify something that we need to work on. So lean on the support of someone that you love or learn something new. I often approach fear as a chance to research. Let me educate myself. Let me see how other people have dealt with it, and then I can release the fear and move on. All right, let's look at the Celtic Cross. I like to celebrate the fact that it isn't overly difficult. We don't have the Devil, we don't have the Ten of Swords, and we don't have the Tower. We have a couple cards that show pivots and things to focus on, but overall, pretty good spread. We'll start off with the center card. We have 5 of Wands, front and center. I like this one because it can show the competition element of the 5 of Wands. Everyone's there flexing their muscles, trying to be the one that is seen or heard. In an office, sometimes this comes through when there's a bad manager or there's no clear leadership. In school, there might be a very competitive or just, again, sort of, it could even be a little bit toxic, the environment there where it's too much of an emphasis on competition. Life is not a sport. And even in sports, there has to be communication, collaboration, and support. So what needs to happen here to elevate it to Six of Wands is someone has to step in and say, hey, why don't we try this? Or try to get on the same page. Because right now people are possibly doing duplicative effort, talking over one another, trying to get attention, but it's not really achieving their goal or the sort of like general good. So you have a chance to step into a leadership opportunity, or we can reorganize this Five of Wands. You could take 2 or 3 people and group them off, and like 3 of Wands and 2 of Wands is much more effective because that's someone that can be a visionary. Then we have a smaller group that can identify something. So in a leadership role, you may need to look at assignments and say, how can we get these people to work together in a different way? In your own life, this can also just be a feeling that you're spinning your wheels. Something that was once satisfying is now just a grind. So if it has turned into that sort of clock in, clock out thing where you're not really interested, this is a chance for you to say, where is the spark? We're looking at wands. There needs to be passion, imagination, and that inner spark. Identify that, and you'll have your 6th wand, and you can go in the direction that you want. Crossing that card, we have 7 of Pentacles. This is growth, it's recovery, and sometimes it's a little dash of old habits die hard. Let's talk about the latter. So this comes through sometimes when you are trying to please everyone. You say yes to one too many things, and it stretches the sort of rubber band a little bit thin. Oftentimes it comes through after you've experienced some challenges in your life. It could be heartbreak, it could be an injury, it could be financial challenges, because this is healing and growth. Those difficult experiences give you kind of like trial by fire and like the school of hard knocks where you learn the hard way. Typically, you don't repeat the mistakes of the past, but the temptation is still there. So I'm going to empower you with a few things here. First of all, it's absolutely okay to say no. You can't and probably shouldn't try to please everyone. Pick and choose, discern, really decide where can I make the biggest impact. Let that be your compass. And know that there's always going to be a critic. There's always going to be a hater. If you're doing your best, you're doing your best. If we do a side-by-side comparison of the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith and this card, you'll notice that in this one, he's keeping his sights on the future. He's putting in the hard work. Whereas in the traditional one, there's a little bit of frustration. He's looking at this thinking, are we there yet? How long is it going to take? And while that can be a natural thing to feel, sometimes it can take you out of your productivity. It can create new frustration, and it really isn't very productive. So keep looking towards why you're working so hard. And if you start to get frustrated, put the focus on something else. Put something down and say, I've done as much as I can with that today. I'm going to focus on this instead. And just like things in your garden grow overnight, you might notice that when you come back and you've given yourself some perspective, you'll see that you've made more progress than you realize. All right? So you are tracking in the right direction. Use the context of the previous challenges or setbacks and continue to make good decisions. As I look at the deep past, the word respect comes through, even though the card reads strength. I think more specifically it's self-respect, which then feeds into self-confidence, which then gives you the strength and wherewithal to stand up. And ultimately, that's what strength represents. You can win a battle even with a formidable foe or opponent by simply saying, hey, this is what I stand for, and you kind of call them on their bluff. Sometimes bullies in our life, they're just all show. It's like they're puffing their chest, they're saying things, but they're empty words. So I feel like some of you have found out that truth, like, hey, if I just say no, if I just challenge someone, sometimes they'll back down. So you never know what's possible until you speak up. Now we're getting into that spotlight energy that I talked about a little bit earlier with the Hermit. And since I have the Hermit card here, we can just pull this one. So he's got the star, he's got the spotlight, and sometimes he says, wait a second, and he shows someone for their true colors. You can even use someone's words or actions to actually illustrate the kind of character that they are and possibly win an argument or win someone over. And that actually is the most effective way. Pay attention to what people say they're going to do and then what they do. And then if you have a moment where you're trying to get other people to see it, show them the receipts. And that's one of the ways that you can come through. It's very clear, some of this as I'm talking about it. Now, as we're looking at strength, this can also be connected to the Seven of Pentacles. Some of you have worked on healing the body. Some of you have worked on healing your finances. Either way, give it a little bit of extra time and TLC, because the Seven of Pentacles shows us that you're nearly at the finish line, but not quite there. Remember that it's kind of like if you've sprained an ankle or pulled a muscle or whatever, you may think just at that point where you're like, oh, everything's okay, then you can sometimes re-injure it. So don't stretch yourself beyond your means. Stand up for yourself if you need to. And if there are people around you that tend to push you to do things that are outside of what feels comfortable or what's feasible, this is the time to really create firmer boundaries. Self-confidence and self-respect coming through loud and clear. Now we had two cards. This came through twice. We have two cards in a row that are here in the recent past. So we have the King of Swords in the presenting energy, and hello, Hermit. We have the Hermit underneath it. King of Swords is outward. He's all about action, all about communication, and about as straightforward and direct as you can get in any of the court cards. He will just simply put his cards on the table and say, this is what I want. This is what's available. Are you in? There's no sort of mincing of words here. The Hermit is a lot more subtle. The Hermit uses diplomacy. The Hermit picks and chooses his moment well and wisely. You can think of Gandalf, like in The Lord of the Rings, kind of cloaking the wisdom, the power, especially when he becomes Gandalf the White and has kind of been reborn. He waits to choose. He picks that moment very wisely before he kind of shows his true light and illumination. I think you could do the same in your own life. Pick and choose your moment, and you could take someone by surprise. You could impress them if you're like on an interview. Wait and choose that moment well. You can overcome and win an argument with someone because just when they think they've got you, you're like, actually, and you put it all on the table. But do choose your moment and do speak up, okay? This could also represent a decision to do some research, to go back to school, to become a teacher in any way, shape, or form, because this is a great communicator and this is wisdom. So communicating, disseminating, and sharing knowledge. There are so many different ways. Curriculum. You might be writing a guidebook or some sort of coursework for someone. You could be a motivational speaker. You could simply be someone who is affecting change in the best way possible. This is also associated with law. So you might be working to change laws, regulations, procedures, etc., whether it's in a corporate environment, an actual sort of like political platform as well, or you're just trying to give voices to people that are marginalized or underprivileged. This combination is really powerful because it is change for the better, and it is elevating, again, voices, information, and knowledge in a space where it hasn't yet been shared. So definitely speak up, use your voice, and shine that light where you feel like it's most appropriate. In the crowning position, we have the Hanged Man. Of course, this can represent a delay, a pause, and sometimes it's inconvenient, but usually it can be a useful pause. And typically there's a nimbus around their head, which represents knowledge, information, and insight. So if you take a moment to pivot and look around, you may find something that you had missed, and had you rushed to the finish line, it would have been either uncomfortable, embarrassing, or not optimal. So take this moment in time and slow down for just a half second and double check everything. Before you send an email or a text, check your spelling, check your facts. before you jump on the plane. Double check to make sure that you have all of your documentation, that your bags are correctly, located and all of that. It's important to just get a clear sense of, am I where I need to be? Then and only then proceed. It's not always a delay. It can just be that internal calibration and check-in. Pause, look around, ask yourself, did I do everything I was supposed to do? And once you've done that, you can move on. Don't rush to the finish line. As we look at the near future, we have the 10 of Cups, one of my favorite cards in the Minor Arcana. With the 10 of Cups here, it can represent friendship, partnership, love, family, chosen family. And if we take a look at this very contrasting energy between your center card, 5 of Wands, and the near future, the 10 of Cups, we see that it's gone from conflict to like community, love, and collaboration, cooperation. And so that is really how we elevate things, is through love. Back to the Catalyst card, feeling fear is a call for love. Lean on someone that you can trust. Really listen to what they have to say. This could be a month during which new friendship, new alliances, or new love comes into your life. It's also a period where your ability to connect with others. We're really focusing on the connecting energy in this particular deck. That connection is not to be underestimated. I always love the rainbow on this card, and it represents something happy after a challenging moment. Like after the rain comes that rainbow. It's also diversity, so there's so many options that are coming through. It's also a very inclusive symbol, as you know, so this is a time to reach out to someone that may need support, that may not be seen, heard, or supported the same way that you were. All of that is comprised within it, and it's just a beautiful energy, okay? Let's take a look at how you're showing up. This is one of the few reversals in this whole spread, and it's saying in this moment in time, you may need to ask. Say, you know what? I need some of this, or I like some of that. State your needs, state your expectations. Also, because we're going back to the Strength card in the deep past, put a line in the sand when something isn't acceptable. All of that is part of this. When we look at the traditional ace cards, there's always a hand there, and it can be either I'd like you to have this, or I'd like to have this, or someone wants to give you something. It can be any number of those things. But with the card in reverse, it's typically you reaching for something or asking for something, rather than just having it handed to you. So don't be afraid to speak up. This is why picking and choosing your moment matters. And when you show that you have the insight, that you've done the work, that you have the wisdom to really make something happen, that's when the magic starts to come through, okay? You may also decide to invest in yourself, and this is reminding you not to overspend. The only sort of cautionary note, because we have 7 of Pentacles, is to know your boundaries, limits, etc., and don't overextend. All right, let's see what's going on in the environment. All right, we have the 7 of Swords and potentially a Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn in the environment. The 7 of Swords is interesting. This can represent someone or something that's coming through not exactly the way you think they might be. A wolf in sheep's clothing, right? And we get a little bit of an identification here. It could be around your money. It could be one of those earth signs that I just mentioned. It could also just be your own relationship to your finances. And there's a sense of sometimes we're just ignoring the bills. We're not paying attention to, again, our own sort of promises and obligations. So from a self perspective, stay accountable. From an environmental perspective, make sure that people around you are also coming through on their promises. And if there's a contract in front of you that doesn't feel right, get a second set of eyes on it. If someone acts in this behavior and it is that earth sign, then what you want to do is hit the brakes. And when it happens in real time, say, stop. This isn't what we talked about. This doesn't make me happy. This, in fact, is wrong. Call it out in real time. Don't wait until days, weeks, or months later, because it'll be ineffective or more difficult then. So this is staying accountable in real time. And if there is someone around you that tries to take more than they give, and that might just be all that this is, this combination, then it's time to create distance from that, to cut that connection so that you have more to give, so that you can get to the 10 of Pentacles rather than sort of sitting and stagnating at the 7 of Pentacles. But honesty and integrity is important. You may simply be working in an environment where you don't feel like you can fully kind of be yourself. You have to always be on guard. That Five of Wands at the center could be informed by a manager or a person that kind of incites and supports that energy of conflict. And that is another piece of the Five of Wands. So now we have a little bit of the source there. There could be, a Knight of Pentacles, an earth sign coming forth and just shaking things up a little bit. More than anything, though, I really do think it's a chance for you to know your worth, stand up when someone acts a fool, and to be honest with yourself and others about time and energy commitments, okay? In Hopes, Fears, and Opportunities, we have the Temperance Angel coming through. This is very closely related to the Hanged Man. Take your time. Don't go to extremes. When and if you decide to take a new path, because the path is behind the angel, do it because you've weighed the options. You've seen it inside out and upside down. You've talked to people that you trust. And in this moment in time, maybe you're willing to ask for something that you want, but it's because you really know without a shadow of a doubt that this is for you. We see balancing energy with the two cups at the center. This is a moment to make sure that you're getting what you need in your life, that relationships are balanced, that give and take when it comes to even like your work-life balance, everything needs to be properly balanced out. Meditation is so effective right now. This is one of the biggest and boldest angel cards next to Judgment maybe, or the Lovers. And when it comes through, it's saying, listen to yourself, your third eye, listen to your guides, but slow down and tune in. It'll be very valuable in this moment in time. The fleur-de-lis, the iris in the background, connected here in the Northern Hemisphere to March and April, perhaps. So there could be something really close, just around the bend, that is going to be well worth your time and energy. Let's take a look at your outcome. We have the Queen of Pentacles, one of the most abundant cards that you can get. Let's compare her, if you will, with the traditional card. So typically she's focusing on that pentacle almost like it's a baby, saying, I worked hard for this. I really want it to be everything that it can be. You, of course, got this card in reverse, so she might be holding on to something longer than it needs to be. So it's saying it's time to let go. And for some of you, this is the delay, and you're asking yourself, what is it that I'm afraid of? Sometimes it's just like, what's next? We build something up, and once we achieve it, it's anticlimactic, and it can sometimes even be a little bit discombobulating because you think, all right, that goal is done. What comes after that? And what comes after that? So take a moment or two to plan and to ask yourself, what am I doing all of this for? It's a little bit existential. What's the big idea? What's the big purpose? This is also a chance for you, instead of helping everyone else, because look at all the lush abundance in this card. She is one of the natural nurturers, just like the Empress. Instead of taking care of everyone else, what if, in this moment, you just take care of yourself? You focus on whatever it is that you need, mind, body, spirit, or beyond that, and just say, in this moment in time, I need and I want. These are the only two reversals, and they both have to do with money. And it's okay to ask, it's okay to want. You may also be deciding to just invest in yourself. Take a class. Focus more on physical activity, on mental well-being, whatever it is that you need, whatever it is that you want. We talked about that a little bit earlier with the Ace reversed. One last note, whenever we have a Queen card reversed, it's also a reminder to let people come to you. So what the Queen of Pentacles is really good at is seeing how someone can succeed. And you may have advice or insight for someone, and you just wish they would listen. Not everyone is ready to hear what it is that you have to say. Keep the door open. Use that energy to launch, create, and nurture things in your own life. Because if we look at the traditional card, we see a little bunny rabbit on the corner, and this represents how quickly things can start to happen when you're not stretching yourself too thin. All right, we're going to take a look now at the expanded forecast, health, wealth, love, and destiny. We're going to go a little bit briefer on this because we have 4 extra cards at the end for the 4 quarters. But as always, we're going to begin with the energy of health, which is your mind, body, and spirit. So for health, we have a beautiful angelic card coming through, and it says, Let love reach where it has never reached before. Haniel, embraced by love. It's your second card around love. And what I'm starting to see, folks, is a theme of acceptance here. Wanting to be accepted. Wanting to be seen as truly who you are. There's so many different types of revelation are coming out. It can be revealing a challenge with drugs or alcohol, with mental health. It could be literally coming out. There could also be just fears and anxieties that you're dealing with and you want to share that with someone else. Allow them to try to show up in the way that you need them to show up and give them time to adjust. So one piece of advice I can give you. It's different for everybody. Some people, right out of the gate, they're ready. Some people, it takes a little bit of time. Give them time. But if you never allow for that openness to just say, I love you, and I need to share this with you. Okay, well, you said, and you're my best friend, or I really want you to see this. Now you've kind of put them in a place where it's safe. And they know that this is not something that is going to be, it can only enrich the relationship if they come around in the way that you need them to. And if they don't, then they were never going to be ready. So just give them a chance, though, and then give them a little bit of time to adjust. That's my advice. If there is an announcement or a special situation where you need love and support, we have the love and support here. Just know that you've had a lot more time. One last piece of advice. You've had more time to cope with something than someone else. So what may feel really normal and okay for you, give them the same amount of time, a day, a week, a month, to just sort of like get their head around it. And if they're still not showing some sort of like movement in the right direction, that's when you can start to think of a plan B. But I just wanted to put that out there. All right, let's look at some other things that we're seeing here with respect to general health and well-being. Okay, Strength card, Seven of Pentacles. Like I said, a chance for really good recovery if you have an injury, possibly to your ankle or feet or any other part of your body where you've had surgery. Just give it time to recover. And if you aren't doing any sort of rehabilitation, you probably should. That will help. There might be a temptation in the environment. So the Knight of Pentacles and the Seven of Swords trying to pull you into doing something, or possibly pulling you into an environment that just isn't best for your sort of recovery and well-being. So say no to that and avoid temptation in that respect. As I said earlier, really focusing on your meditation right now can be so effective and will help you in the long run make better decisions. Queen of Pentacles loves to treat herself, and there are times, places, and ways to do so, but avoid overindulging when it comes to alcohol, caffeine, whatever your vice of choice might be. And also, we're not even in money, but sometimes overspending. So avoid that kind of extreme. I think that's going to be something in the long run that you'll be happy about. Otherwise, this spread is pretty good. And I really feel like the main thing here is themes of acceptance. We're really looking for this unconditional love and support. And what I've found in my own life is if there's something challenging that I'm going through, if someone can't show up or doesn't want to see me when I'm not at my best, then I don't know if I want them to be with me when I'm at my best, because it's that whole idea of for better or for worse. So you should be able to be who you are. And I do believe with that 10 of Cups that if it isn't the person in front of you, it's someone else in your circle of friends that may come out of the sort of like woodwork and be the support that you need. It could be a Libra or an Aquarius or a Gemini, because we have this air sign that comes through as a trusted support. They also might be older than you think. Sometimes we don't give people the benefit because you're like, oh, they're too out of touch, they're older, they're from another generation. They've been through so much more. You'd be surprised sometimes how liberal and open-minded someone can be because they've seen more. So it might be someone who's had a few more rotations around the sun than you. Lean into that if you can. All right, let's move on to wealth, looking at resources, life purpose, and career. When I saw this, I mouthed interesting because immediately I knew that the shark was like the 10 of Swords. So when it comes to your finances, to your money and things of that nature, avoid saying something that you can't take back, particularly if someone in your life did something wrong or threatens you. We want to elevate. Now we're going into the potential elevation energy. So because this would be connected with like potentially swords, we want to take it from 10 of swords to king of swords. And we want to pinpoint and articulate, no, because of this, and then you move on. You don't have to sit there and trade a barb for a barb. Just say, this is unacceptable, or this is what I need. There could also be, it's interesting, money and sharks, they don't go together well as a metaphor, a money shark or a loan shark. There could be someone who is trying to take more than they should, and it sometimes can be an advocate. Like it can be a boss, an agent, a banker, or whatever. So we want to look at the fine print and really make sure that someone that we're working with has our best interest. Let's break this down into a few categories. If you're presently employed, there's a lot to love this month. First of all, you've done the work. And you have a chance here to also be a mediator or a voice of reason. King of Swords, really good at communication. Hermit, has the information to back up the words. Can step into this sort of dicey Five of Wands and find a compromise and get a happy outcome. It may take a little more time than you want, but it's good. On a diagonal, also very good. Strong, good and cooperative energy, patient, and then in the long run, you have a chance to get what you want when it comes to money or title, but you have to possibly get around this person who's cutthroat. That's what I see. There's a coworker or someone around you who is unscrupulous, and you can circumvent this. But one thing that I will say here is the early bird gets the worm. So if there's a position that you want, a project that you want, or some sort of growth that you'd like to see, have that heart-to-heart with the person that you trust, hopefully your manager, and get that in writing. This other person's going to do what they're going to do. Avoid temptation. Don't gossip. Don't take shortcuts. Don't do anything against policy. This person's probably going to sink themselves on their own. Don't get involved. The rest of your spread is good. There's something a little bit unsavory in the environment, but otherwise I like what I see. All right, entrepreneurs. For you, it's super important right now to look at your finances. We have the Seven of Pentacles, which is slow, steady growth. We have Queen of Pentacles in reverse and also Ace of Pentacles in reverse. So a couple of things that I'm seeing here. It looks like spending or the financial needs are a little bit above where the revenue is. In this sort of situation, you just have to get realistic. Don't make any immediate decisions, but decide. Do I need to put all of my efforts in this area, or can we streamline a little bit? You might have to discontinue a product or service. You might also be looking at something that just isn't working out here. So the Seven of Swords, someone may have overpromised. There might even be an opportunity here to get some money back. If someone charged too much for a product or service, this person needs to go, or this energy needs to go. The rest of the spread looks pretty good. The other thing here is you might be overly generous, and that's not a terrible quality, but it's not a sustainable quality either. So if your services are underpriced, and maybe you were trying to come into a market, make a splash, get people to see what you're worth, okay, but now you have to adjust and turn a profit. So don't undercut your revenue or your worth. If something isn't worth the investment, it needs to be released. And really focus on customer appreciation and employee appreciation. This will help you level up. If you're job seeking right now, can you find something? Yes. A little slow. I think the month will start off slowly. There is one opportunity that you might have already applied to in the environment. I'd like you to take a closer look at that. Really scrutinize contracts. Make sure that you understand if there's any like non-competition clauses, any sort of intellectual property things that you don't agree with. Just make sure you're getting a fair deal, because with this card here, you can negotiate and get what you're worth, and possibly more than you think. This can be a multitude of like 10. So 10%, for instance, you could possibly get a little bit more. Test the waters, try your best to negotiate. Looks like you can get it. There may be one thing that's worth passing if someone is asking for too much. This can also represent a little bit of a commute. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to move, but you might have to commute a little bit as I'm looking at this path here. So see how comfortable you are with that. But otherwise, I do see something towards the end of the month, but negotiation is necessary. It's not exactly where you want it to be. For students, I think this is the biggest focal point here, the Seven of Swords, Knight of Pentacles. There could be an environmental distraction. Roommates, it could be a teacher or a classmate situation. Someone in your life is coming through and distracting your focus a little bit. My main piece of advice here is create distance when possible. But because we have Seven of Swords here, integrity, honesty, not taking shortcuts, these are the important things here. And if you're writing like a paper, make sure that you cite all of your sources. This could also be someone that makes a false claim. And now that we have weird things like AI filters, which aren't always accurate, I have teacher friends that have told me this too. If you have that bibliography, if you cite all of your sources and challenge this sort of maybe false claim towards the AI, especially if you wrote it on your own, then you'll be okay. But you need to make sure that you do write it on your own and you do have all of your sources and materials so that you can prove it. This is something that's kind of new, and I wouldn't have maybe read it that way unless I kept up with emerging technologies. But this looks like it's real, and this looks like it's false. So there could be someone that's trying to throw you under the bus, or AI that's creating this sort of inaccurate portrayal of what's going on. If you are a teacher, by the way, be aware that sometimes those AI programs aren't always accurate. I think what's really important right now is taking time to enjoy the process of studying and learning and student life here. So spend time with people that you love, take a rest before making any major decisions and any sort of changes that you want to do. Make sure that you've sat with that for a moment. Otherwise, things are fine. I really feel like some of you might have a double major. This is almost like history and communications or something, but what I'm seeing here is a double major that could be really good. I wouldn't add anything else to the equation when it comes to class or coursework right now. Just avoid the distractions and keep your receipts when it comes to papers and research. Retirees. Some of you need or want something to do, and it's not that you like the work, you like the people. Find a way that you can give back or get involved. This is a great time to do that. Furthering your meditation and spiritual journey, absolutely. Yes, yes, yes. We're looking at money. And there might be some fear or anxiety over money, particularly since there's so many weird things going on with the world economy. So you might be looking at this thinking, I don't really want to work, but it might be kind of fun. I could use the extra money. Just make sure this time around you're doing it because it's taking away some of the fears, but you don't want to work yourself to exhaustion if possible. Try to find something that brings that nice balance that we see in the Temperance card. Now let's move to love and relationships. All right, we have an interesting energy coming through here with mimicry. Although imitation can be the greatest form of flattery, sometimes it's annoying. Mimicry is coming through saying, use your own words, be your own authentic self, and if you are going to borrow something, a way of dressing, a way of speaking, an idea for sure, like ask for permission and let someone know and see if they're comfortable with it. You might also just be noticing that what you're doing is popular and it's being mimicked. And again, this is kind of a compliment in a strange way. Also, model behavior because people will mimic that. So if you lead with authenticity, with generosity, with kindness, with communication, oftentimes people respond to that. Back in my corporate days, I had to step into a situation where there was no manager for a long time, and you had to sort of set the tone of what it was going to be like with you. And people really pay attention to all the things that I mentioned. What do you say? Do you follow through on it? Are you kind? Do you listen? Are you an advocate, or are you there to make things more difficult? So once you create a place of safety, everything starts to basically benefit from that. All right, if you are in a partnership, let's see what's coming through for you. What I love in the deep past is that you've worked hard. You've worked hard to create something. There's open communication, there's wisdom, there's more love. The challenges. One or both of you may be feeling stuck in your life. You also might be feeling a little bit of stagnation in the relationship. And there's a tendency sometimes to keep things back. So don't be afraid to talk. Speak open-heartedly. Speak with an open heart and an open mind. And hopefully the same will be returned to you. We were talking about modeling so that hopefully that will be echoed back. Patience is key, and we do have a great card on the outcome here too. I think this is a moment where one partner needs a little bit more. So be there to support them. Show them that you love them. And I do think you can work through this. There might be some challenges around money. There may be some questions about some expenditures. There may be a secret that needs to come out, but by and large, it's manageable. We don't have something catastrophic. It's just something that someone's a little bit uncomfortable or afraid to say. So create space for that. And it could simply be that they want more, want a little more time with you. This is manageable. Have open communication. You can get through this month. If you're single and looking, can you find someone? Yes. We have a couple of options coming through. So in the past, we have the King of Swords. I kind of like the King of Swords. There might be an age or maturity gap with this, and maybe that's been part of the reason that you've been uncertain to move forward. They come through as pretty good. There's also a Leo in the past, which looks great. I like both of these. In the future, I like the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, but she needs more than you might be willing to give right now. Take it slow and get to know this person. There's a Knight of Pentacles in the environment. Not so thrilled about that. There's something that isn't yet being revealed there. They may still be attached. They might not be looking for what you are. Tread lightly there. Overall, I feel like the energy is on networking. So you can meet a lot of people, but when it comes to focusing on who you want, the universe is almost kind of like a question mark. What is it that you want? When you get 3 or 4 options, the net is too wide. So be a little bit more specific when you're focusing and meditating. And that's my advice on that. Single and happy, good for you. Right now is a time where you can continue to grow and heal and develop, particularly when it comes to personal development and money. I also think that you could really grow your professional network or your friend network right now if you'd like to. You need some stuff for yourself, though. This could be a decision to really focus on health or your finances. Try to avoid going to extremes, though. Sometimes we go gung-ho into this, slow and steady. You have 2 cards of slowing down, so make sure that you're not spreading yourself too thin. Finally, let's look at your Destiny card. So in Destiny, we have Laguz coming through, and it reads water, fluidity, and emotion. The card is in the reverse position, which sometimes shows this heightened sensitivity, a feeling of being vulnerable. Slowly put yourself out there. Slowly come out of your shell. And as we saw here with the 10 of Cups, and as we saw here with this sort of embracing love message, you have the capacity to be loved. But sometimes you just have to take a calculated leap of faith, a risk, and put yourself out there. Let's go ahead now and take a look at the quarterly forecast and see what this new year has in store for you. Quarter 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, for January, February, and March, Q1, we have the 2 of Wands. This is a very auspicious card connected to planning, dreaming. Also, it's a card that is connected with intuition, being able to see how something is going to align. This is a great period of time for you to set things into motion. It's interesting that in this 2 of Wands, we see 2 different people. He's got his 2 hands there, but there's someone else that's saying, okay, I can help out. So partnership is coming forth, and we already saw a great partnership energy in the 10 of Cups. So if there's something that you need help with, this is a time to lean on that trusted friend, colleague, or partner. One other note with this, I get the message like, dream it, then do it. This usually is paired with the High Priestess or the Magician. And a lot of times you need to believe it, feel it, see it in your own sort of imagination before you can achieve it in the world at large. And this is a reminder of the importance of that. It's a reality check. Until you get to that point where you see it and want it, it's probably not time yet to launch it. All right, Q2, April, May, June, fantastic. This is the height of receptivity. That means that people around you are ready to receive whatever it is that you want to put out in the world, but also your energy of creativity, love, passion, and compassion are coming through in a really loud way, in a really good way. The King of Cups is one of the best leadership cards because he leads with heart. He leads with imagination. He's kind. This is a time to put that kindness out there and to show people what's possible. There may be new love coming into your life, a Cancer, Scorpio, or a Pisces. And in general, people are just looking at you with a sort of kinder and more receptive energy. So the key takeaway for this second quarter of the year is receptivity. Looking at the third quarter, wisdom, knowledge. We have Emperor coming through. Look at all the gray hair there. Same thing that we saw with the Hermit. This is your chance to come out of your shell. So the first message at the very beginning was get out of your comfort zone, come out of your shell. You have half a year to get ready for that, so no pressure. But by July, August, and September, people need, want, and will react positively to that sort of wisdom and that boldness. And you can't get much more bold than the Emperor. He absolutely has that self-confidence, knows his self-worth, stands up for himself, and will speak freely. This is perhaps your most impactful period, and it is a time to lead, to launch, and to communicate. Finally, as we go to Q4, October, November, and December, a little bit more sort of like on your own, but very busy and productive. The Eight of Pentacles is connected with learning, but also production and also creation. For those of you that are writers or artisans or want to build something or like to work on your own, the latter part of the year is perfect for that. You'll get a lot done. There's a little less interaction than we saw in Q2 and 3, but nonetheless, a very powerful period. So far, you have one of the best quarterly forecasts that I've seen. Looking at, well, they're all off camera here, but Two of Wands, the King of Cups, the Emperor, and the Eight of Pentacles, like chef's kiss. I feel like it's a good year in front of you. All right, so let's look at one final question. This can be anything that you still need some advice on. Let's give the cards a shuffle and see what Spirit has to say. Okay, so we have the Nine of Swords coming through here, and typically this is saying it's not the right time. If you asked a yes or no, Nine of Swords is indicating that there's too much stress, the emotions are running too high. We had the Hanged Man in the crowning position, we had Temperance card coming through, and it's saying it's either a full stop no or not right now. Wait until you get to a place where the emotions don't feel so intense, don't feel so heavy. And the other thing here is don't let fear hold you back, but do listen to your intuition. If you're looking at something and you think to yourself, I'd like to do that, but I think it's going to be really stressful. I don't think the sort of time or energy that I put into it will be worth whatever I'm getting out of it. Well, you already know what to do. If you're afraid and need more information, ask. But in this moment in time, you need to get more information before you proceed. You should probably talk to someone else. And my gut tells me that there's a better path that creates a more favorable outcome and favorable environment for you. Okay? Please take care of yourself and get a little bit more rest, though. Typically, this card is connected to insomnia or taking stress home. So finding better stress management techniques could be also very advantageous at this moment in time. That, my friends, is everything. So thank you again for spending some time with me today. I hope you got what you needed out of this reading. If you did, do me a favor, like and subscribe. It's 100% free. It helps the channel grow. It allows you to make a comment. And I want to just say thanks for everybody that does that. You can also show support by leaving a sticker with your comment or becoming a member. You can alternately go to PayPal if you would like to do that. That also is a great way to give back. If you want to make sure you never miss out on a future video, go ahead and follow me. It's Nicholas Ashbaugh on all major platforms. You can go to my website to get all of those links or the main channel page here. And on my website, there's also an option to sign up for a newsletter. I would highly encourage that. I'll be launching some things this year, and you want to keep up to date with that. So please do that if you can. And again, thank you for being the best part of what I do here on YouTube. From my heart to yours, wishing you all the best. Check out the daily, weekly, and monthly videos on my main channel page. And until I see you next, have a great one.